All right, hi baseball fans. A little bit of an early stream tonight. Hope to do a doubleheader. Howie Shanks, and then back later on with people seem to be enjoying it. Maybe around 10 p.m. Eastern time. Um, it's another all-time greats. Um, I might actually switch it up and do MLB 20 tonight instead of 22 because in 20 the broadcasters say a lot more names, which I really like. So we'll see. I don't know, but we'll be finishing that up. But anyhow, we're just going to jump right into this. Took a few days break. MV got us caught up, and now we're into game calendar of 15 May. So we are catching up. Let's look at our standings, and I am so happy to see my Mudville team putting some serious heat on Detroit. So Detroit at 18 wins, 10 losses, just one game up on my Mudville 9. They are 19 and 13, just one game back. North Sound doing very well, 17 and 13, two games back, as is Jersey, 18 and 14, two back. Cleveland at 17 and 14, two and a half, despite a ton of injuries, and I actually have to go in and make sure that Kevin Mitchell is activated. Cleveland has been riddled with injuries like crazy. Des Moines still in the race, three games back at 16 and 14. Manchester a game above 500, three and a half back. The Hawaii Volcanoes have really taken a drop. Um, this was a team that had a strong start to the season, but have dropped down to three games below 500. They're five and a half out. Badlands making a little bit of noise. They're at 11-18 and seven and a half out. And Arlington, 6 wins, 24 losses. And Robbie, I've kind of reminded you a couple times. You might want to look at your roster. You do have Don Baylor for some reason sitting on the bench. So, please do your updated rosters and get them sent, and just post them up on the Howie Shanks Discord, and MV or I or whomever or Steve, we'll get to it. But let me check Cleveland just really quickly here to make sure that Kevin Mitchell is fine and where he should be, and then we'll just get right into a game. Actually, be right back with you folks. Got to take a brief pause. All right, all right, all right. Yeah. So let's look at comments here. So John Haber, probably not here by now anymore, but he says hello Beatles. He's got his copy of Now Taking the Field. Great call on my part, he says. Thanks. Can't stay long, but wanted to thank you. You're most welcome, John. It's such a fantastic book, and it's going to be one of those deep dive rabbit hole books, and I think you're going to have a blast with it. There's our new subscriber, Mark Roberts. Welcome in, Mark. So, Mark, when you make your third time in, you get a wrench. That's the way it works. And Robbie Wertberg, of course, is here, usually first at the ballpark. And cousin Ken Castro, also in here tonight. All right, so we're gonna again, just like I said last night, I really don't want to let down the side. I don't know why Kevin Mitchell is inactive on here, but I'm going to activate him. Todd's team. We have to kind of babysit Todd's team right now. So there we go. All right, done, 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 done. So anyhow, doing the standings, and it's a pretty tight race. You know, we have six of the teams within 3 games of the league lead right now. So that's being held by Detroit. My team, Mudville, is in second place. So let's get to a game. So and then later on, I'll be back to either do the KCCL or we'll do another MLB The Show, either 20 or 22. The reason I want to do 20 is because they say a lot more names. The broadcasting is maybe not as good, but still, it's a lot of fun. And they're all better than I am. So let's see. We have Badlands versus Des Moines, North Sound versus Hawaii, Jersey versus Cleveland, and Manchester versus Detroit. And I think we're going to go Manchester versus Detroit. Dan Burke, welcome in, Dan. It's certainly good to see you as well. So I think that's what we're going to do. So first place, Detroit is going to take on Manchester. Manchester a game above 500. So this is going to be Juan Marichal for Manchester versus Dwight Gooden for Detroit. So hopefully we'll have ourselves a good matchup here tonight, and maybe Manchester can do the league a favor and hand Detroit a loss. Certainly Mudville would appreciate it. My team having the day off, which makes me happy. So let's get to it. Marichal versus Gooden. Hope everybody had a great day. And yeah, enjoy some baseball. And like I said, we'll be back a bit later with either our Dead Ball 19th Century Tournament on this or MLB The Show or, I don't know, maybe our 1971 World Series replay or something. I don't know. We'll be back with something later. But let's get straight to it. So here we go. All right, baseball fans, welcome to Tiger Stadium, where it's Manchester against Detroit. Juan Marichal gets the start for Manchester, and he's 5 starts in the year and 1-1 with an earned run average of 6.29. This will be his first start against the Detroit Coyotes, and he'll be opposed by Dwight Gooden. Gooden 6 starts in the year, and he's 3-2 with an ERA of 3.80. So again, one of the better ERAs in the league. This will be his first start against Manchester. Detroit second baseman Fred Dunlap is just doing some amazing things for the Detroit Coyotes with that tandem of Shoeless Joe Jackson leading off, followed by Fred Dunlap. And Fred Dunlap is on a 12-game hitting streak. 70 degrees here in the Motor City. Wind speed 10 miles per hour. In from left center field. Play ball! And let's look at the defense here for the Detroit Coyotes, and I'm seeing here that Felton Snow is back into third. I know that Steve was playing Hank Aaron every once in a while in there for the bat. And Legend Sports Universe is here with us tonight. Always good to see him in the ballpark. And Big Clue, of course, there are 3 commissioners in this league, and Big Clue one of them, and certainly his work in this league has been fantastic. All right, in left field for the Detroit Coyotes. Almost said Tigers. Barry Bonds in center. The Yankee Clipper himself, Joe DiMaggio, which, by the way, the place where I work today, we have a customer that came in the other day. I didn't get a chance to talk to him, but his name was Joseph DiMaggio. And that's not a common name in Italy. So wish I could have talked to him. Might have been one of Joe's, who knows, grandnephew or something. But hopefully he'll come back. And right, it's Bryce Harper now going around the horn from first to third. Mark McGuire at first base. Fred Dunlap at the Keystone sack. Shortstop Dave Concepcion at the hot corner. Negro leaguer Felton Snow behind the bench. Behind the plate, Johnny Bench. Just got off work, guys, sorry. And Dwight Gooden taking the mound. Gooden's numbers, 3 wins, 2 losses, 47 and 1/3 innings pitched, 16 walks, 48 strikeouts. So league hitting .254 against Gooden. Leading off here, Joe Morgan for the Manchester Red Bulls. Morgan hitting a disappointing .213 with a home run and 8 runs batted in. We're ready to get underway now as Dwight Gooden is finishing up his warm-up pitches. And now the 1-0 coming to Joe Morgan. Here it comes. Fastball. And Morgan hits this one deep to second. And Dunlap juggling the ball, unable to hold on to that scorcher from Joe Morgan. And so the leadoff hitter, the very, very speedy Joe Morgan aboard. So Johnny Bench back there, superlative arm behind the plate. We'll see if that shuts down the Manchester running game. As Tommy Tucker, 19th century star, steps in. Tucker hitting a healthy .319 with 11 runs batted in. So Tucker just a little bit under pace from last year. The lefty stands in. Morgan a good lead off first. Gooden glances at the runner, comes home with it. The 1-2. Fastball promptly hits Tucker. So we will probably see maybe some retaliation. Dwight Gooden looking like he's not in a great mood out there in a bump. Plunks Tucker. So 2 aboard, nobody out for Bob Hazel. So there's been a lot of Bob Hazel, of course, in there for MV's star right fielder Chick Stahl, but Hazel's been not letting down the side, but he's not playing at the level of Chick Stahl. So Hazel hitting .200 with a home run and 2 runs batted in. Hazel, formerly of the Milwaukee Braves. Dwight Gooden sets and delivers. Full count to Hazel. Fastball. This one chopped up the middle for a base hit. The Yankee Clipper has it in center. Morgan coming around third. The throw to the plate. And Bench's tag not in time. And this throw gets away from Bench. So Morgan scores. It's 1-0. And the runners move up. Tommy Tucker at third. Bob Hazel at second. Nobody out. Top of the first inning. And here's the splendid splinter. So Williams on the year hitting .279, 5 home runs, and he's batted in 27. Infield outfield playing straight away for Williams. The 3-1. Fastball. Williams connects this one high and deep, but Bryce Harper gets it at the track. Tagging at third and scoring is Tommy Tucker. So Ted Williams will pick up the RBI on the sacrifice fly to right. And the Red Bolts posting 2 here in the top of the first. Bob Hazel in scoring position at second for the great Josh Gibson. Fearsome hitter. And Josh, what a great, he's doing so great now. We're into around game 30 of the season, so a ways to go. But Josh hitting .312. He's gone yard 8 times and batted in 23. So Josh Gibson of the Homestead Grays. Played for a time with the Pittsburgh Crawfords, was a battery mate at one time with Satchel Paige, and finally, when Josh was on the Grays and Satch was in the Kansas City Monarchs, there's a great, great story about, well, maybe we'll tell it as we go along. I'm sure most of you know the story, but it's one of those wonderful stories in baseball that you don't want to forget. All right, so Josh ready to face Dwight Gooden. Well, 1 down here in the top of the first. Gooden deals. Payoff pitch to Josh Gibson. Curveball. And this one painting the black in the inside corner. Josh looking at a call. Strike 3. Gooden dropping the hammer. So 2 away here. And it brings up the Mick. He's batting lefty against Dwight Gooden. Mickey Mantle hitting .291. 3 home runs, 15 runs batted in. Commerce Comet ready to work now. Here's Gooden's delivery, the 3-1 to Mantle. Fastball missing down and away. So Gooden having some strike zone problems and already hitting a batsman in this inning. And here's Alex Rodriguez. He's on a 9-game hitting streak. So Hazel at first, or Hazel at second, Mantle at first, and here comes A-Rod. A-Rod hitting 284, gone yard 4 times, 15 runs batted in. Bench sets the target. Gooden into his motion in the 1-2. Curveball, and the curveball working for Gooden. Side retired, but 2 runs, 1 hit, 1 errors. We've played 1/2 inning. The Manchester Red Bulls 2 and the Detroit Coyotes coming to bat. So I understand Legend Sports Universe said he's not one to rush his leagues, but looking forward to Josh Gibson entering the fray, as are we all, those of us who follow what you're doing. Absolutely. I believe it was Dan. Yeah, so Dunlap, expect a lot of errors from the 19th century players. Definitely going to happen. Let me see, what else do we have? Of course, Cousin Ken doing some APA Master Game. Absolutely, yeah, Ken. So Dan Burke asking if Ken is playing Action PC. So as far as Ken went with, and again, so Mark, if you're still here, you'll learn this about my channel, and you are. There tends to be a lot of chat, and I interact a lot more with the chat than a lot of other content creators do. So if you're looking for a sort of virtual broadcast here, it's more of a baseball chat with a baseball game going on in the background, and I occasionally broadcast it. Anyhow, Cousin Ken gave Diamond Mine Baseball about 3 weeks of love, and that's it. He is a hardcore cards and dice gamer, and we love him. So it's all good. And yes, Doc Gooden is on the mound. Starting defense now here for the Manchester Red Bulls. In left field, the splendid splendor, Ted Williams. In center, the Commerce Comet, Mickey Mantle. And over and right fielder Bob Hazel trying to hold it down until Chick Stahl returns from his injury. From first to third around the horn, Tommy Tucker at first, Joe Morgan at second, A-Rod at short, Michael Jack Schmidt at third, Josh Gibson catching, and Juan Marichal. So Marichal's numbers already pointed out, struggling in the season. A lofty 6.29 earned run average, 1 win, 1 loss. Juan has worked 34 1/3 innings. He has walked 10 and struck out 17. He's been touched up for 10 home runs. And to put that in perspective, last season Marichal only touched up for 32. So Marichal getting knocked around a bit. The league hitting 289 against him. So Marichal was actually a result of a trade, interestingly enough, involving Sandy Koufax. So Koufax was traded for Juan Marichal by the Red Bulls. Shoeless Joe Jackson now will lead it off here for the Detroit Coyotes. Jackson hitting 304, 2 home runs, 10 runs batted in. Shoeless Joe assuming DH duties. Fred Dunlap waits on deck as Juan Marichal winds and fires here. 0-1. Change up, and this one lined, and Hazel's going to play that on a bounce and right, having trouble handle it, and Shoeless Joe Jackson will be aboard. So they're going to score that a single and an E9, and Shoeless Joe Jackson now in scoring position. And Fred Dunlap, as we said at the top of the broadcast, with a 12-game hitting streak. And this tandem of Dunlap and Jackson has been absolutely superb through the season. Fred Dunlap hitting .417 with 6 home runs and 19 runs batted in. And lest you think that's an anomaly, last season Dunlap hit .412 with 13 home runs. So Dunlap performing apace, if you will. So Jackson, good leadoff at first. Shoeless Joe this year has stolen 5 bases, 41 bases last year for the man who, in my opinion, and the opinion of many, should be in the Hall of Fame. Marichal deals now after checking Jackson, and Dunlap sends this up the middle. Joe Morgan's only play will be to Tommy Tucker at first. Shoeless Joe Jackson makes it to third. Tying run comes to the plate now, and Barry Bonds. Jackson just 90 feet away. Bonds having an absolutely torrid start here to the year, hitting .353, 7 home runs, 20 runs batted in. So Bonds definitely on pace to at least match last year's total of 45. Lefty Bonds waits for the Marichal delivery from the stretch in the 1-2 to Barry Bonds. Fastball, and this one called strike 3. So Juan Marichal picks up strikeout number 1, and a big one it is. Doesn't get any easier, though. Here's Mark McGwire in that historic season. Last year hitting 70 home runs. What's Mark doing this year? 261, 12 homers so far, 30 runs batted in. Marichal trying to work out of a jam here. The 0-2, McGwire swings, base hit. No, what do we have here? So time called. We've got to look at the replay and see exactly what happened. It's a hit. Wait a minute, time was called. We're not sure. Well hit, it's a hit. Time was called, it looks like, by Josh Gibson. So McGwire back in the box. So here we go again. Marichal with the 0-2 fastball. McGwire swings, high fly ball to left. Going back is Williams toward the track. This one off the wall. Jackson scores. McGwire picks up the RBI double, and the Detroit Coyotes cut this lead in half. It's now 2-1, bottom of the first inning. And Bryce Harper is going to try to get McGwire home. Harper hitting .345, 6 dingers, 16 ribbies for him. Harper steps into the left side of the box, digs in. Marichal peers in, has the sign from Josh. McGwire in scoring position. Here is the wind and the 1-2. Changeup coming to Harper. This one a comeback to the mound. Marichal fielding it off the right side of the bump, and that retires the side. However, 1 run, 2 hits, 1 error, and we've played 1 here at Tiger Stadium. And it's the Manchester Red Bulls 2 and the Detroit Coyotes 1. Our Red Sox fan coming in, gracing us with his presence, as is Robert, RJO Network. And yeah, Tina Turner, may her memory be eternal. Robert, of course, we always do the thing with the Beatles. He says, baseball with the Beatles. I will say, Hey Jude, which counts in honors of Tina Turner. May she rest in peace. Absolutely. Take a sad song and make it better. All right. Legend Sports says he'll be back after his F-ball broadcast. Says enjoy. Good to see you, Al. And yeah, guys, and Robert, of course. Remember, guys, Robert doing a and I need to check something here with my cats. Robert is going to be doing a kind of exhibition pre-game coming up at the end of June as a preface to his 2016 replay. So I know Cubs fans will be all fluttered to see if the Northsiders can repeat. So look for that on RGO Network coming in July, and I know that the folks on his channel would some of them would like to lynch him for taking the time off. All right, here is Mike Schmidt, greatest third baseman in baseball history. I don't think anybody would dispute that one. Schmidt hitting .269 with 7 home runs, 23 runs batted in. Gooden holding on to a 2-1 lead. We're just in the first third of this game as Gooden deals the 3-1 to the dangerous Schmidt. And Mike Schmidt, good eye up there, laying off this fastball a little bit outside. So draws the walk. Gooden not happy. Gooden having some control problems here. Hit batsman, and now his second walk, but he has whiffed 2. So we'll see if the dock settles down here. As Ripper Collins steps in. Ripper Collins, the 1934 National League home run champ, an integral member of the Gas House Gang Cardinals. Collins assuming DH duties, batting in the number 9 slot, hitting .304 with 1 home run and 8 runs batted in. Schmidt at first has a stolen base, had 12 last year. Gooden winds and fires the 0-2 to Ripper Collins. Curveball bounced to Dunlap at second. Dunlap will go to Concepcion. Concepcion on to McGwire for the 4-6-3 double play. So quickly now, 2 outs. And we go back to the top of the Manchester order, and Joe Morgan. He grounded to second, but was safe on an error back in the first to lead off the game. The dock deals the 1-2 curveball. A little too hopper to Dunlap at second. Quick throw onto McGwire. to retire the Speedy Morgan. So no runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left. We played 1.5 here in Detroit, and it's the Red Bullets 2 and the Coyotes 1. Yeah, Robert, you should. I mean, come on, man. Robert says, a lot of his subs are still going through network withdrawal. Do a stream soon. Absolutely, Robert. Just surprise them. Do something completely off the cuff, whatever. They would love it. You would probably blow up YouTube with the people coming in. So, and I, for one, am looking forward to your 2016 replay. It's not 1971, but hell of a season. And looking forward to it, bud. Robert getting up to the Big Apple, got to see his beloved Mets, and now he's back safe at home, and we're certainly glad of that. So looking forward to it, Robert. I want to see Steeler fan and everybody in there saying, rigged, 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 cracks me up. Good people in that community as well as this one. All right, Joe now. Here we go. DiMaggio hitting .308, 2 home runs, 18 runs batted in. Marichal ready to face the Yankee Clipper. DiMaggio will be followed by Johnny Bench and Felton Snow. Marichal count even on DiMaggio. DiMaggio pops this one behind the plate. Gibson tosses aside the mask. Plenty of room here in Detroit and makes the catch. So 1 up, 1 down for Johnny Bench. The Reds Hall of Famer hitting .265, 8 home runs. 27 runs batted in for Bench. Marichal works the 0-2 now. Fastball coming to Bench, and Bench sends this one to center field. Mantle looks back, and this one is gone. This one just bouncing off the facade at the lower part of the upper deck. And just like that, the Coyotes tie it up here in the bottom of the second thanks to the Johnny Bench home run. This one going 373 feet. Johnny Bench got his money's worth out of that one. Felton Snow now, a Negro leaguer that many probably have not heard of, but Snow having a great season thus far, hitting .300 with 2 runs batted in, 9 runs batted in, 2 home runs. Manager Steve Tate has been actually using Hank Aaron at third to get that big bat in there. So Felton being platooned with, by all people, Hank Aaron. So Marichal deals now to Felton Snow. The 0-1 fastball, base hit, right field. Bob Hazel up with it and fires it into Joe Morgan. So Felton Snow will hold it first. Felton Snow not really as much of a base-stealing threat. I mean, so many Negro League players playing both a brilliant combination of speed and power ball, and Felton Snow falling more on the power side of the equation as opposed to, say, Cool Papa Bell. Of course, then there's Oscar Charleston, who just did it all. All right, batting in the ninth slot now with 1 down is Dave Concepcion. Concepcion hitting a very light .208 with 8 runs batted in. Concepcion last year hitting .271. Managed 8 home runs last year, 64 runs batted in. So Concepcion probably not due yet, but Marichal with a check of the runner. Here's the 0-2 fastball. Concepcion high pop-up. This one on the infield, and A-Rod and Mantle converging, but A-Rod looks like he takes it. We have an injury as Ted Williams comes in, and Williams is out. So that one falls in between everybody, and Ted Williams is hurt. So let's see if we can just look at the text replay, and yep, it just says, and so drops into that Bermuda Triangle and left. So big bat out. We'll see at the end of the game how long Ted Williams will be out. So coming in is Elmer Smith playing left field, and we'll look at Smith's numbers when he comes up. But Manchester Red Bulls taking a big hit there with a splendid splinter out. All right, Jackson back in Jackson in the box now, and the 1-2 pitch to Shoeless Joe is 1 for 1. High fly ball to center field. Mando back on this one and makes the catch. And here's the strong throw into A-Rod, and Felton Snow will make third. So runners at the corners, 2 out. So just allowed out there by Jackson. And here is Fred Dunlap, 0 for 1, trying to extend this 12-game hitting streak. Concepcion has wheels at first, 4 steals thus far this season, 29 thefts last year. Marichal working from the stretch now. Dunlap swinging on the first pitch. Base hit. Center field. Mantle up with it. Snow will come around to score. Concepcion will make third in the play. Dunlap with the RBI. And Detroit has played a 2 here in the bottom of the second. And it's now 3-2. Here's Barry Bonds. Bonds, the all-time home run king, has struck out in his first at bat. Marichal works from the stretch with 2 down, and the 0-2 to Bonds. Curveball, and Bonds lines this one to right. Hazel plays it on the bounce. Concepcion will score. Dunlap, rounding second, will make it to third, standing up, and that's the 3rd run plated by the Coyotes here in the bottom of the second. 2 away, and it's now 4-2. So Manchester taking a bit of a slapping around here as Mark McGuire steps to the box. McGuire with an RBI double, scoring Shoeless Joe Jackson back in the first. Again, pardon the stuttering, guys. A long day. Marichal from the stretch, and the 1-2. And Marichal hits McGuire. So there it is. Dwight Gooden with a hit batsman, and we're waiting for it to happen. Marichal hitting McGuire. So could be some bad blood brewing between Manchester and Detroit. And here is Bryce Harper. So Bryce Harper does have 1 grand salami on the season. Harper 0-for-1 in this game. He grounded back to Marichal back in the first. So Marichal in a bit of a pickle here. Dunlap at third, Bonds at second, McGuire at first. Marichal winds and fires the 1-0. Harper swings, line to second, and Joe Morgan making a nice diving and stab of that and making the catch. So side retired. They leave him loaded, but 3 runs, 5 hits, no errors, a hit batsman, and 2 full done here in Detroit. And it's the Coyotes 4 and the Red Bulls 2. MV coming in, hoping to do some maybe a little rescuing of his team. Ted Williams is hurt, MV. We don't know for how long, but injured on a play out there in that Bermuda Triangle in the left pasture here in Detroit. So Tommy Tucker, Bob Hazel, and Elmer Smith now. So Ted Williams was in that cleanup spot, and a big difference. Hazel, just not the bat, but then how many bats are Ted Williams? Tommy Tucker was plunked by Dwight Gooden back in the first, and we just saw Marichal take his retaliation on Mark McGuire. Gooden with the 0-2 delivery. Fastball, Tucker, base hit, right field. Bryce Harper up with it, and Tucker will round first. Now we've done them all, and hold. Here's the pitch now to Bob Hazel. He is 1-for-1. Hazel swings, chopping ground ball to short. Concepcion will go to Dunlap, but there will be no pivot. So Hazel aboard, thanks to the fielder's choice. And 1 away for Elmer Smith, and really a big, this is a big dent now for these Red Bolts. And the Red Bolts hoping beyond all hope that Williams just out just for a game. Elmer Smith in the season hitting just a paltry .224 with a home run and 11 runs batted in. Bob Hazel at first, no threat to steal. And Johnny Bench and Josh Gibson, their jobs, of course, to shut down the running game for these teams. I would have to say in terms of speed, Manchester definitely the faster team, really the only base stealer for Detroit, really a more power-laden team is Shoeless Joe Jackson at the top of the order, whereas you have Joe Morgan, Tommy Tucker, Elmer Smith can swipe a few, as can Josh Gibson, A-Rod, and even Mike Schmidt. Home run-wise, though, there's power on both sides, but I would say I would have to give the edge to Detroit on that one, but let's see how it plays out. 1 home run in this game so far by Johnny Bench. Gooden checks Hazel at first, more out of habit than anything. The 3-0 to Elmer Smith. Curveball missing. This one missing low. And Doc Gooden has just issued his 3rd free pass of the game. So Elmer Smith aboard for Josh Gibson, and a swing of his mighty bat ties it up here. Josh struck out against Doc Gooden back in the first. Elmer Smith with 26 steals last year, stole 3 this year so far. Gooden deals, full count on Josh Gibson, and this one in there at knees, call, strike 3. So Doc finding a strike zone, but again, very uneven game for Doc Gooden, having struck out 3 and walked 3 thus far. As MV saying hello to everybody, good to see you, slant you, mate. All right, so 2 aboard, 2 out, and here's the Mick. Mantle walked back in the first. Gooden deals the 1-2 to the Commerce Comet. Fastball, rip and a miss by Mantle. Mantle was aiming for somewhere in Windsor, Canada, but they come up empty. No runs, 1 hit, no errors. And we go to the bottom of the 3rd inning. It's the Detroit Coyotes 4. The Manchester Red Bulls 2 here in the Howie Shanks Bingo Baseball League. We'll be back later tonight with some baseball. Probably MLB The Show 20 or 22, or the Ken Castro 19th Century Dead Ball tournament. So something will be happening later tonight in a couple hours. A little bit more baseball. Joe DiMaggio, we want you on our side, is up. Joe is 0 for 1. Popped to the catcher back in the second. Marichal works to him now. The 0-2 fastball. This one lined, but great jumping leap by Tommy Tucker at first to take care of that bullet from Joe. So 1 up, 1 down. Johnny Bench 1 for 1. Hit that home run just the facade beneath the second deck. Bench hit that back in the second. Marichal works now to him. The 0-1 fastball. Bench swings. Hard ground ball to Schmidt. Schmidt, plenty of time, fires it across to Tommy Tucker at first to retire Johnny Bench for the second out of the inning. And this brings up Felton Snow, who is 1 for 1, single to right in the second. Felton digging in there. Felton, having played, one of the teams he played for was for the Elite Giants, Chicago. And coming up in the broadcast, because Steve has done enough of the Negro Leaguers, I'm hoping to coincide with this All-Star game that we also finally do our promised Negro League All-Star game, which will be East versus West, and it'll be held in Comiskey Park. So look for that coming up as we near mid-season in this Howie Shanks League. Juan Marichal deals the 0-2 delivery. Fastball, Felton Snow, base hit, left field. Elmer Smith plays it on the hop. So a 2-out base hit for Felton Snow, and it brings up Dave Concepcion. And he is batting 1,000 today against Juan Marichal. That was that sort of strange Bermuda Triangle single into left field in which Ted Williams was injured. So Felton Snow, conservative leadoff first, 2 away. Marichal with the leg kick and the 0-1 curveball. And this one deep to short, and A-Rod will race Felton Snow to the bag, and he will win to retire to the side. We head to the 4th, and the score remains 4-2. Alex Rodriguez, Mike Schmidt, and Ripper Collins. Rodriguez on a 9-game hitting tear. 0 for 1, struck out against Gooden. Gooden to the set position and deals the 0-1 changeup. This one, oh, great play, diving stop by Felton Snow. Gets up quickly, fires across the diamond to retire A-Rod. What a fantastic play over there. Felton Snow not rated 10 for nothing on here. And a very, very strong infield for Detroit from second to third. Dunlap, Concepcion, and Snow, just absolute hoovers out there. Superb range, strong arms. As Mike Schmidt steps in. Drew a walk back in the second. Gooden deals the 3-0 to Schmidt. Schmidt lays off, once again showing that great eye. So 4-pitch walk, and Schmidt's bat is quiet, but he is on base for the second time in this game. And here's Ripper Collins. I think that was sort of the unintentional, intentional walk, but Ripper Collins certainly a dangerous hitter. Collins today, though, grounded into a double play back in the second. Schmidt leads off first, one away. Gooden throws over. Schmidt dives under the McGuire tag. Gets up, brushes himself off. He is safe. Kind of a close call over there, so Gooden with a nice move to first, but Schmidt able to get back in time. Bench sets the target now as Gooden deals the 1-2, and this ball will get away from Johnny Bench. It looks like Gooden and Bench got called, their signals crossed up, and score that one a wild pitch. So again, Dwight Gooden, though, holding a 2-run lead. This is not a Dwight Gooden performance one expects. So 4 strikeouts, 4 walks, a wild pitch, and a hit batsman by Dwight Gooden. Schmidt now in scoring position. Dwight Gooden with a leg kick and the 2-2. Curveball. Ripper Collins sends this out to center field. This one deep, but DiMaggio getting it short of the track. Here's the throw to third by DiMaggio. The slide by Mike Schmidt. And just in ahead of Felton Snow's tag. So strong throw by the Yankee Clipper, but unable to catch Mike Schmidt, who turned on the Jets. So 2 down here, and we go back to the top of the order, and Joe Morgan. Joe Morgan safe on an error back in the first and grounded to second back in the second. So tying run at the plate, and potential third run just 90 feet away from Manchester as Gooden from the stretch in the 3-1 fastball, and this one missing. So this one inside, and Gooden looking frustrated, stamping off the mound, picking up the rosin bag, kind of giving it a little perfunctory toss, knocks it back off the hill, climbs back up to the slab to face Tommy Tucker. Runners at the corners now. Mike Schmidt at third, Joe Morgan at first. 2 down, 4-2 your score. Tommy Tucker 1 for 1. He was hit by a pitch and then singled in the third inning. Gooden now throws over. Joe Morgan back. Wouldn't be surprised to see some aggressive work here. Manchester trying to get 2 in scoring position. Gooden deals the 1-1. Tucker swings. This one a high pop fly in the infield. Dunlap ranging over, calling off Harper, who was kind of ranging in on this ball. So opportunity goes by the wayside. Nothing across. We go to the bottom of the fourth. It remains 4-2. Aaron Reed joining us here at Tiger Stadium. And our Red Sox saying, take care, everyone. Got to go. Thanks for stopping in for a little bit. And RGL taking off. Everybody watching, I believe that's hockey. Assuming, being the idiot that since I don't follow other sports. Anyhow, glad that you guys could stop in for a while. Big Clue says, operator Mondock. He says, oh wait, go Red Bolts. Yeah. So, and thank you, Dan, for that. All right. So Shoeless Joe leads it off here in the bottom of the fourth inning. Jackson 1 for 2. Here's the wind in the pitch by Juan Marichal, who struck out 1. Base hit left field by Joe Jackson. Elmer Smith juggling that ball out there, and Jackson is going to go to second. So Jackson not sure if Elmer Smith was fainting, but that was an absolutely legitimate E7. So Jackson picks up the base hit, and that's another error for the Manchester Red Bulls. They're second in the game. So Shoeless Joe in scoring position, and the Detroit juggernaut continues. And I know that this broadcaster rooting for Detroit to lose, even though when I'm broadcasting I need to be neutral, but my team just 1 game back of Detroit, and with having an off day today on this one, Detroit pulls it out. So let's go Manchester. All right, Marichal ready to deal to Fred Dunlap, who's 1 for 2. Here's the 0-1 curveball. Dunlap slaps this one hard to center. Mantle up with it. Jackson, they flash the stop sign. So Shoeless Joe definitely with the speed could have scored from second. Interesting choice by the Manchester third, or the Detroit third base coach, I should say, to flash the stop sign to Jackson. Certainly the Commerce Comet with a strong arm, but interesting that Jackson not waved on. So runners at the corners, nobody out. And here comes Barry Bonds, 1 for 2. RBI single. He scored Dave Concepcion back in the second. In the first, he struck out. Marichal working from the stretch. Here is the wind in the 0-2 delivery. Bonds catches up this curve, this one deep, and this one a line shot out of here. And Barry Bonds hits a 3-run dinger. This one going 352 feet. And this game just getting busted wide open now by these Detroit Coyotes. Guy Hecker will come in to pitch now for Manchester. Tyga Stadium. So, as Dan Burke says, we'll see. Robert's saying that he's going to go watch. He wants to see his Panthers win the Prince of Wales Trophy. Dan Burke says we'll see Robert. Every game has been a 1-goal game. Rooting for St. Louis. He's rooting for St. Louis tonight. Tachik. So I will watch hockey. I don't know a lot about it, but hockey's a cool sport because it's a low-scoring sport. One of the reasons I like it. So whoever your team is, whoever you're rooting for, best to them. Mark McGuire will lead it off here, followed by Bryce Harper and Joe DiMaggio. McGuire with an RBI double, scoring shootless Joe in the first, and he was hit by a pitch in retaliation. So Guy Hecker now on the mound. Let's look at Hecker's number really quickly. ERA this season of 4.15. He has 1 save, worked 8 2/3. Has walked 4 and struck out 4. League hitting .250 against him. He had a 1.30 earned run average last season with 5 walks and 33 strikeouts. So Hecker here to soak up some innings now in this laugher. It's 7-2. But again, we are just in the middle third of this game. McGuire waiting for Hecker's pitch. The 2-2. McGuire, base hit, left field. Elmer Smith playing it on the room service bounce and fires it to A-Rod at short. So McGuire at first. And here comes Bryce Harper. Bryce Harper, nothing for 2. Hecker with a check of the runner. Peers in, has a sign from Josh Gibson. The wind in the 0-1 to Bryce Harper. Harper swings, base hit, right field. Hazel up with it. McGuire round second, but they flash the stop sign. So 2 on for Detroit. Hecker needs to induce a double play ball here. But Joe DiMaggio, not knowing for grounding into double plays, last year only grounded into 6. This year, just 1. McGuire at second, Harper at first, nobody out. The Coyotes already with 3 in, thanks to that 3-run shot by one Mr. Bonds. Hecker deals, count even on DiMaggio, fastball, and this one catching the inside corner. Nice pitch by Guy Hecker. 1 down to retire the Yankee Clipper, and here's Johnny Bench, already homered in this game, and he's 1 for 2. Grounded to third his last time up. Guy Hecker brings it now, the 3-1 delivery, fastball, and this fastball missing low, and Hecker in trouble now. Bases loaded with Detroit Coyotes for Felton Snow, and is that good news? No. Felton Snow a perfect 2 for 2 today, 2 singles. So McGuire at third, Harper at second, Bench at first, 1 out, 3 in. It's 7-2. Hecker sets in from the stretch. Snow swings in the first pitch, bounding ball to Rodriguez, who will go to Morgan on the pivot to Tommy Tucker, and Guy Hecker gets out of a jam. So the hemorrhaging temporarily at least stopped. However, a big 4th inning for the Coyotes as they plate 3 more. It's now the Detroit Coyotes 7 and the Manchester Red Bulls 2. So this one, as Aaron Reed, he says he has to channel his inner Ernie Harwell. He and Robbie Wartburg, 2 Baseball for Windows junkies. I guess I'm to blame for that, as Robbie discovered Ernie Harwell broadcast blast on my channel way back on Super Bowl night 2019. And then Aaron Reed now getting joining the Baseball for Windows bandwagon. A really fine game. A really fine game. All right. Bob Hazel, Elmer Smith, and Josh Gibson. So Hazel, RBI single, scoring Joe Morgan back in the first and then grounded to short back in the third. Dwight Gooden, thus far, let's look at the lineup of him. Through 4 innings of work, 2 hits, 1 earned run, 5 walks, 4 strikeouts, and hit batsman. So lefties hitting a little better against Gooden at 203 versus 198. So Hazel right now wanting to take advantage of that. Gooden sets and kicks. And Hazel back there. I'm sorry, so Smith aboard. So Hazel back just safe. That was a close call. Look at that one again. And so we had a weird, you have to have one scoreboard anomaly in Action PC Baseball or it doesn't count as a game. Lefty Elmer Smith back in the box. Gooden fires it in. Count full to Smith. Grounded to short. Concepcion's only play will be to first. This is going to be close. And Elmer Smith wins the race. So it looks like Concepcion had a brief bobble with the ball there at short. And that was enough for Elmer Smith to make it to first base. So 2 aboard, nobody out. And a chance now for Manchester to get back in the game is the great Josh Gibson. Strides to the plate after grabbing a piece of ash. The big Josh, though, is nothing for 2. Swing of the bat, however, and Manchester finds itself in striking distance. Dwight Gooden, of course, knows this. 2 on. Here is the 1-2 to Josh Gibson. Fastball coming, and this one is going to be hit to right, extra bases. Harper giving chase. 1 run is in. Hazel is in. 2 is in. And Josh going for 3. Gibson dives, and he is safe. So that one, how about it? A 2 RBI triple and striking distance enough. So the Red Bolts getting back in this game now. 2 in, and it's 7-4. So Gibson coming through in the clutch for the Red Bolts. And the good news for them, 2 things. First, nobody out, and Mickey Mantle's up to bat. He'll be followed by A-Rod. So the Mick in the game has walked and struck out. We'll see how Gooden's going to deal with him. Gooden working from the stretch to the Commerce Comet. The 3-1. Curveball missing. So again, it's those control issues by Dwight Gooden. This is highly, highly unusual. So the Mick aboard. And here is A-Rod now. Runners at the corners. Nobody out. Thank you for that, Big Clue. He says, fitting that the championship for a sport named F-ball is the Stupid Bowl and also the Stupor Bowl. Also the Stupor Bowl. Absolutely, man. Mantle, one of the most feared hitters of all time. Boy, and are you a master of understatement, my friend? Everybody, welcome in, by the way. Some of you that are left. It's Mark Roberts. He's a new subscriber to our family, new member of the family as of last night. We see him a 3rd time. He gets a wrench because we're about family here. So everybody give Mark a shout out to say hi. He's new with us. Thank you. All right, A-Rod now the big job to do. He's just got to put it in play somewhere to get Josh home. So infield playing normally. Maybe they're going to, it looks like they're going to concede this run to try to get the double play. Gooden, bench out to discuss with Gooden now back behind the dish. The 1-2 coming to A-Rod, fastball. And how about that? Big rip and a miss by A-Rod. And Dwight Gooden picks up the strikeout. So that's 5 strikeouts now for Gooden to accompany his 6 walks, as Dan Burke and Aaron and Big Clue welcoming Mark into the family. Yep, Big Clue says, welcome to the funny farm, Mark. We'll get Robbie to clean out a stall for you. You're most welcome, Mark. Mark told us last night he's very much into 19th century baseball, so Ken will have somebody to have a good chin wag with, as well as myself, and some dead ball. And Robbie typed in Actus and then retracted the message. So there we go. Don't know what that meant, but perhaps Robbie chatting up some bird on another channel or something. Have no idea. Either that or Robbie practicing some Latin. Anyhow, Gibson at third, Mantle at first for Mike Schmidt. Good working with one out from the stretch. The 0-1 to Mike Schmidt. Fastball, base hit. This one line to left, and Schmidt picks up the RBIs. Josh Gibson scores. Mantle moves to third in the play, and here come the Red Bolts now. So at one time, the Coyotes holding a 7-2 lead. Red Bolts answering with 3 here in the fifth, and it's now 7-5. Red Bolts making it a ball game. Big Clue says the only birds Robbie chats up are Blue Jays, Orioles, and Cardinals. Yeah, Aaron, there's a lot of really cool 19th century, a lot of towns in the United States, cities. When I lived in Ohio, got to see Columbus play Detroit, or Columbus play Toledo, I'm sorry, and they were playing by the same rules as the 1869 Cincinnati Red Stockings. And, I mean, the umpire was there with the top hat, and no gloves, anything like that, the larger ball. It was a blast, and I wanted to join, but ended up going back to Europe the following year. So never got. I mean, they wore those wool uniforms and had the cool bats. It was so much fun to just go check out on a Sunday afternoon. All right, so one away, and here is Ripper Collins. It does not get any easier. However, the Ripper has grounded into a double play and fly to deep center. So Mike Schmidt at first with a steal. Mantle, so both runners aboard with some speed and one out. Dwight Gooden from the stretch and the 2-1. Fastball cut on, and this one grounded to Dunlap to Concepcion, and Schmidt is going to break up that potential double play, and just like that, the Red Bolts are within 1 run, plating 4 here in the fifth, and they go back to the top of the order, and little Joe Morgan is Ripper Collins, not one of the fast members of the Gas House Gang in there with that big stick, is on first. Morgan 0 for 2 and a walk. Collins about 2 steps off first. Gooden deals with 2 down, and the 1-0 to Ripper Collins. Fastball. This one grounded deep to short. Concepcion will fire it on to Fred Dunlap with plenty of time to retire the side. But 4 runs, 4 hits, no errors. We go to the bottom of the 5th inning here at Tiger Stadium. And it's the Detroit Coyotes 7, the Manchester Red Bolts 6. Turning out to be a hell of a game right now. The line for these teams. The Red Bolts 6 runs, 6 hits, 2 errors. They've stranded 7. For the Detroit Coyotes, 7 runs on 13 hits, 1 error. They too have stranded 7. So Dave Concepcion will lead it off here, and then we'll swing around to the top of the order for the Coyotes here in the bottom of the 5th. And Shoeless Joe Jackson and Fred Dunlap. I see. So Robbie Wartburg saying that the Actus was his inability to use the keyboard on his phone properly. Nice, nice, nice. All right. Whatever you were trying to type with Actus, thank you, Robbie. Of course, the genitive of Actus is acti, and then actum, if you want a little bit of Latin there. Actus, actus, acti. Oh my God, I remember Father Phil Hankinson. I had to learn Latin in 9th grade. Oh, it hurts. Which is probably why I ended up taking Spanish at university as opposed to Latin. All right, Concepcion 1 for 2. Hecker deals the 1-1. Hard hit ground ball. Plenty of time for Mike Schmidt at third to scoop it up and fire it across to Tommy Tucker for the 5-3 putout. 1 down. Excuse the barking. The people who live downstairs have a passel of chihuahuas. My cats, nice and quiet here, watching, looking, and saying, what the hell is that noise? And we're glad we're cats. I love dogs, but I'm not a big little yapper fan, so once I get my own flat, it's going to be about big old fluffy retriever or a husky or a malamute, so not sure which yet. Probably the retriever, as Malamutes and Huskies have a high prey drive. Anyhow, no one cares about that. Shoeless Joe now, 2 for 3. So Shoeless Joe singled twice. No RBI for him, but part of this 13-run attack by the Coyotes. Guy Hecker on in relief. Juan Marichal got absolutely shelled and got the hook. Hecker deals. Jackson swings. Routine ground ball to short, or at least I thought it was routine. Rodriguez bobbling the ball, recovers, and is able to get Dave Concepcion. Nice play out there by A-Rod to hold on to that ball. And here's Fred Dunlap. So Jackson retired. Yes, absolutely. I've had dogs and cats all the time. Never a problem. It's usually dogs that are afraid of cats. In fact, I used to have a Maine Coon that would attack and scare Rottweilers and things like that. And if you've seen a Maine Coon cat, yeah, cats have more weapons, and if they can get on a dog's neck and get to the eyes, it's done. She was so large, we would actually walk her on like a halter. But she had, at that time, just with our dog, she was fine. She just hated every other dog in the entire universe. It was pathological loathing of dogs. One day, my ex-wife and I were out walking. Beautiful, beautiful she was, and saw a German Shepherd, and just bam! I never saw a cat break a chain, and did, and she was on that Shepherd's neck, and he was yelping. But yeah, dogs and cats can be together. They just have to be. You got to test them first. All right, Fred Dunlap now 2 for 3, 2 down. Dunlap with an RBI single in the second. Hecker deals the 0-1. Dunlap swings. Hard ground ball. What a stop by a layout stop by Schmidt. Throwing from the knees and a strong peg across to Tommy Tucker to retire Dunlap and the side. We go to the 6th, and it's the Coyotes 7 and the Red Bolt 6. Now, the Coyotes manager is not here, so unless Gooden gets shelled, I'm leaving him in there for now. It says he looks okay. We shall see. Tommy Tucker leads it off here, followed by Bob Hazel and Elmer Smith. And again, we'll be looking to see, after we sim out the other games in this day, the extent of Ted Williams' injuries. Dan Burke says there's a team here in town called the St. Louis Brown Stockings that play in a vintage league with uniforms and everything. They play rules from the 1860s. Kind of cool to watch. It really is. And you know what? So, Dan, I'm watching that baseball, right, at that time. It was before I went back home to Europe. And so I forgot the rules for a second, right, because, if you caught the ball in a bounce, it was an out. So this guy hits it to right, and it bounces in front of the right fielder. And the right fielder just nonchalantly throws it back in. And right, so the striker, as he would have been called, goes back to the bench, and they sat on benches. It was so cool. And I'm like, I almost yelled, but that was a base hit. I'm like, wait a minute, 1860s baseball. So really, really fun. It does catch you off guard. And of course, they could call their pitch. So yeah, fun game though. Longer than the Beatles Eternally broadcast, that's for sure. All right, Dwight Gooden deals the 3-2 changeup. Tucker will send this high fly ball shallow as Bryce Harper comes and makes a fine running catch on that on that F9. So 1 up, 1 down for Bob Hazel. Hazel, RBI single back in the first, and then singled in the fifth. He grounded out in the third. So Robbie, we'll give you one more reminder in this broadcast. You really should look at your team, try to shake it up a little bit. Send your manager file either to me or to MV. You've got Don Baylor sitting on the bench. You definitely ought to look at that, man. So have a look. MV asked me to remind you, so I am reminding you. Dwight Gooden deals now to Bob Hazel. Here is the 1-2 delivery. Changeup. Hazel sends this down the left field line, giving chase in foul territory. Toward the stands is Barry Bonds. And Dwight Gooden is tired, but 2 down. Unless Gooden gets shelled here. And I do not see a Steve Tate. No more 5-hour streams, although tonight it'll come close, as I'm coming back later with an MLB The Show game. MLB The Show 20, I think, tonight instead of 22. Peak at some point. That would be a good idea there, Robbie. I'd like you to get your, I think, 7th win or something, 8th win. You have a good team, but you got to get Don Baylor. You need that bat in your lineup somehow, man. All right, good to deal now to Elmer Smith, who is in for the injured Ted Williams. Infield single in the 5th for Elmer Smith. Legged it out. Good deals. 2 down. 0-1. Smith. Fly ball to center field. DiMaggio making a leaping grab against the wall. And that retires the side. We go to the bottom of the 6th inning. And it's 7-6. Guy Hecker will face Barry Bonds, Mark McGwire, and Bryce Harper. The stuff of nightmares. Barry Bonds, 4 runs batted in today. A single, RBI single, that scored Dave Concepcion in the 2nd, and a 3-run tater back in the 4th. At that time, making it Detroit 7, Manchester 2. Calling it a laugher, but Manchester clawed its way back to within 1. Hecker delivers the 0-2 to Barry Bonds, changeup, and this one smacked down the first base line. Tommy Tucker making his 8th error of the season, and Bonds aboard courtesy of the E3. Bonds, not quite the speed that he had with Pittsburgh, but still will occasionally pick his shots, but whether he'll run against Josh Gibson or not is another story. McGwire, 2 for 2. RBI double in the 1st. He was hit by a pitch, and then a 4 single to left. Bonds, good leadoff first. Guy Hecker deals the 1-2 delivery to McGwire. McGwire golfs this curve to short. A-Rod to Morgan to Tommy Tucker, pitcher's best friend, the double play. So 2 quick outs here, and that brings up Bryce Harper. Harper singled his last time up. The lefty waits. Gibson sets the target. Hecker into his motion. First pitch swinging. Little bouncer to first. Tommy Tucker waving off Guy Hecker and will take it to the bag himself. So a very quiet 6th for Detroit. And we go to the 7th, and it is 7-6. It says Gooden has a bit left, and with Steve Tate not in here, I hate this, but I'm going to have to make an executive decision, I suppose. And we got to pull Doc Gooden, I think. I really shouldn't, but have to be fair. And let me see. Boy, with a 1-run game, I'm going to let the chat call it. So, guys, here's who we have available to come in. I mean, we can look at these hit percentages, but I'd rather the chat do it. Is Jimmy knackered from too much shagging, MV? I'm wondering. So, your choices are Zach Britton, Billy Wagner, Reb Russell, who's a spot starter, also Earl Moore, Brent Saberhagen, and Ray Kramer. So, let the chat decide here for a minute. Oh, MV says leave Gooden in, right. Gotta be fair, believe me. I want Steve to lose this game even more than you do, man. Because I could gain a step on him, but okay, we got 1 vote for Reb Russell. In terms of percentages right now, Billy Wagner would actually be the best choice, followed by Zach Britton. But I got 1 vote for Reb Russell, and if Steve is watching this, he better come in here really quickly and tell me who he wants, because I have no idea. I'm going to go with Reb Russell here in a second. 7 watching. No, he's been inactive, Robbie, for the whole season. If you're talking about Don Baylor, there's an IA beside his name. MV thinks it's too early for Billy Wagner. So we got 2 votes for Reb Russell. Mick F., welcome in, bud. Welcome into Detroit Tiger. All right, 2 votes for Reb Russell. There we go. He will come in to pitch. Doc Gooden's day is done. So what I hoped would be a great pitching lineup, Juan Marichal and Dwight Gooden, does not come to fruition. Both starters getting the hook now. So Reb Russell's numbers on the season, very good actually, 2.59 earned run average. Russell with three wins, no losses, 1 save, 24 1/3 worked. He has walked 6 and struck out 6. A whip of 986 and the league hitting 196 against them. So MV playing fair. MV says sorry late to the game, or McF says sorry late to the game. Signing trust paperwork in Wills this afternoon. Oh, Mick, you got to do it. Get it. No need. Yeah, Robbie, it's really up to you to do that. So have a look at your roster, see what you can do, man. You have a potentially superb team there, and you still haven't hit double digits. So I know that you are not an Action PC player. I know you have the game. So please have a look, man. I'd like to see you get more competitive in it. Also, Ned McGreevy League will be coming back in July. July will be returning to the 19th century in dead ball purely, although Cousin Ken, my co-commissioner on that, we're kicking around the idea of allowing some 20 or 1920s players in, but then it begs the question of whether or not to ban Babe Ruth. Who knows? We'll see. It might just stay strictly dead ball in 19th century this time. Last time we did have a few 1920s players, and they really didn't make a difference in the league. All right. Anyhow, Josh Gibson has struck out twice, but then that big triple. It's a 2-run triple back in the 5th that was part of a 4-run 5th inning for the Red Bolts to bring them back within 1. Reb Russell done with his warm-ups, and he deals base hit. Josh Gibson, and the tying run is aboard for the Manchester Red Bolts, as MV says he's looking forward to Ned McGreevy too, and that will run alongside Howie Shanks. So, however, the difference is we may do McGreevy 2 in out of the park baseball. We'll see. We may not do that in Action PC. It's probably going to be out of the park. Well, again, Ruth's not going to tip the balance. Whoever gets Babe Ruth, if they get Babe Ruth as a pitcher, great. If they get him as a hitter, great. But I'm kind of leaning toward the original McGreevy rules: dead ball, and Babe Ruth does not make the league. So we'll see. Because if somebody picks Babe Ruth 1919, when he had 29 homers, that might be kind of problematic. But we'll see. That's not till July. Ken and I are going to go over it, and maybe I'm going to get MV's input as well. But it's really, it's Ken Castro that I'd really like to confer with on the 1920s issue. Russell deals with Gibson on first. Here's the 0-1. The mix swings, chopper to first. McGuire will take it to the bag himself. Josh Gibson moves to second on the play. Tying run now at second. Go-ahead run at the plate. And A-Rod looking to extend this 9-game hitting streak. So a little bit of self-serving here for A-Rod as well. He has struck out twice, grounded to third. Yeah, I really want to do it in out-of-the-park baseball. I'm doing so much in Action PC. So MV says, let's go Bolts. MV hanging in there with his team, as it is 1:42 a.m. in the United Kingdom. Lefty Russell deals, and Rodriguez says it's high and shallow to Barry Bonds. Gibson's not going to go anywhere on that ball. So here's Mike Schmidt now. He is 1 for 1. Schmidt, RBI single, scored Josh Gibson. Red Bolts looking for that again. Here we go. Bench sets the target. Reb Russell into his windup. Here is the 2-1 pitch to Mike Schmidt. Change up. Schmidt sends this to center field. This will stay in the park. Joe DiMaggio has it. And that will do it. No runs, 1 hit, no errors. And we go to the 7th inning. And the Coyotes hanging on to a razor-thin 7-6 lead. And Martin Dihigo will come in to pitch. Sorry, we go to the bottom of the 7th. 7-6. All right, we're back, and Aaron Reed, as is customary, channeling now his inner Harry Carey. Martin Dihigo now pitching for Manchester. So Dihigo could play every position, and he was a fine pitcher, but just one of the greats, the greats. So I know when Legends is going to be bringing in the Negro Leagues into his Franchise Stars Baseball League, I'm hoping that Martin Dihigo will eventually make the cut. Cuban player who was absolutely astonishing. Had it not been for the color barrier, Martin might have been the first Latino-Hispanic superstar in baseball, not Roberto Clemente. But Dihigo, fantastic player, just insane. His numbers, you ask, as a pitcher? Well, 2.57 earned run average in 7 innings of work. Walked no one, has struck out 8. In the season from which he was selected last year, 3.19 earned run average, 8-5. With 88 strikeouts, 41 walks. And remember, that's also Martin playing first base, second base, third base, shortstop, outfield, even caught. Brilliant athlete, Martin Dihigo. All right, the Yankee Clipper frustrated nothing for 3 as we started off here in the bottom of the 7th. DiMaggio bench and Felton Snow. Dihigo finishing his warm-up pitches, the 1-1 fastball, and promptly Joe DiMaggio scores this one into left field for a base hit past A-Rod. So DiMaggio on the season has actually stolen a base. 4 last year. DiMaggio last year, 30 home runs, by the way. So you can go ahead and figure out the season DiMaggio is from. Johnny Bench 1 for 2 with a home run. Dihigo with a check of DiMaggio at first. Peers in, has the sign from Big Josh Gibson. Count even on Bench. Curveball, and Bench lines to third, and Schmidt, great backhanded stab along the line. That one definitely would have gone for extra bases, and DiMaggio quickly back to first, 1 down. Felton Snow with a 2 for 3 in this game, 2 singles, grounded to short. And John DFW joining us here at the Motor City, late game. Good to see you, my friend. All right. As Dihigo deals to Felton Snow, the 2-0 delivery, and Snow sends this changeup into the left corner for extra bases. Elmer Smith in left field giving chase. DiMaggio tearing around second. He'll go to third as Smith's throw comes in, and the throw to the plate, DiMaggio slides, and he is out. He is out. So great play. Let's look at that one again on the video scoreboard. So DiMaggio off to the races. Elmer Smith with a good strong peg. So DiMaggio makes third easily, but then the throw to the cutoff man Rodriguez, and he uncorks it home, and Gibson with a nice sweep tag of Joltin' Joe, and that saves a run. Could be the big play of the game defensively for the Manchester Red Bulls. Both teams leaving a passel of people on base, by the way, in this game. Red Bolts with 8 and the Coyotes with 7. A couple bases loaded situations going by the board. So 2 away for Dave Concepcion, who's 1 for 3. Felton Snow in scoring position, potential 8th run for Detroit. 2 down, bottom of the 7th. The 1-2 fastball. Concepcion swing and a miss, strike 3. No runs, 2 hits, no errors. And great work gunning down DiMaggio at the plate. We go to the 8th, and it's 7-6. Ripper Collins, Joe Morgan, and Tommy Tucker due up for Manchester. So it is make-believe. Oh my God. So John, whose team is John taking over? Says John broadcast one of your games today at Hawaii. How about it? Yes, it will, Robbie. That's kind of how it's done, sort of. Don't chase completely, but we're using the UK slang for female particles. So there you go. All right. Anyhow, back to game action here. Ripper Collins, nothing for 3. Collins is due. Again, last year home run champion with 35. Ripper Collins, not getting a lot of. I mean, he's 26 at bat, so I don't know what the deal is with first base in Manchester, I should say. Collins, whether he's getting the playing time he deserves or not, but here we go. Russell deals to the Ripper. First pitch fastball, high pop fly in the infield. Concepcion Dunlap converging. Dunlap waving off Concepcion for out number 1. So here's Joe Morgan. Yeah, D. Scott and John are so similar. That's all right, MV. You're Welsh. By way of West Virginia, Cardiff, of course, and London and Jamaica, and all points in between. Probably the Azores at some point, right? Probably hung out in Reykjavik. All right, Joe Morgan has nothing for 3. I should talk. I've been all over the place, too. Joe Morgan has grounded out twice. Would have grounded out 3 times. Was safe and error back of the first and walked. So Joe Morgan is such a potent key to Manchester, but Morgan shut down thus far. Southpaw Russell deals. Here is the delivery. The 1-0, and Joe Morgan, base hit up the middle. Here we go. DiMaggio gets the ball back into David Concepcion quickly. And Joe Morgan, a threat to steal on first, but will he steal on Johnny Bench? That is the question. Absolutely, Mark. He's part of that great Big Red machine throughout the 1970s. Whew. I know, because my Buccos battled the Big Red machine in the 1970s. Always seems that the Pirates do well, the Reds do well. Not so much this year, but my Pirates thus far splitting a series with Robbie's Rangers. And let's see, what's the final today? So Texas takes the series from the Pirates 3-2. So congrats to you, Robbie. The Rangers at 31-18. The Bucks at 25-14, man. And let's look at the standings here. It's kind of looking a little iffy here for the Bucks. We're 2 games back at Milwaukee. They've won 2 and we've lost 2. So our next game is going to be against Seattle. So Rangers holding a 3-game lead over the Houston Astros. So go Robbie. All right, back to it. Tommy Tucker 1 for 3 in the ball game. Morgan at first. Here's the 2-1 to Tucker. Fastball. This one sent down to first. McGuire would go to Concepcion. Concepcion not able to get the throw back to McGuire in time for the double play. So Tucker aboard. Fielder's choice, 2 down for Bob Hazel. Thank you, Robbie. We got a young team, but thank you very much. You know, I'm a realist, though. I mean, we had a strong April. May has not been so good, but you know, I'm happy with this Pirates squad that we have, and provided Bob Nutting, and I think he's going to hold on. You know, we extended Brian Reynolds' contract. Good sign, having Kutch in there. Get O'Neill Cruz back in August. So we'll see. Carlos Santana has been a big help to the team, of course. Having that veteran presence for these guys, really amazing. A lot of good guys there. Connor Joe, good young player. So thanks, Robbie, for that. But hoping your Rangers can do it all the way, man. You guys have an excellent team. Get a big payroll, but excellent team. Money well spent. Tommy Tucker with speed. Hazel 2 for 4. Again, filling in for Chicky Stahl. Stahl out until July. Russell deals, throws it over. Tommy Tucker slides in under the McGuire tag. And McGuire not able to get the glove down in time. And we have a pinch hitter now. Fred Singleton will pinch hit for the Red Bulls. Singleton as a pinch hitter. He's 1 for 3 with a double in this season and a run scored. Tying run at first, 2 out. Russell deals the 0-1. Change up, and this one smoked to left. Tommy Tucker should be able to score on this one with his speed. Barry Bonds chasing it to the corner. Tucker will go to third. Singleton slides into second. And computer allow Kenny Lofton to pinch run at second. It's up to you, MV. Thank you, Robbie. We do have a long history. MV, it's up to you. Do you want a pinch runner at second and Kenny Lofton? It's up to you. That would be a yes. All right. All right. So the fleet of foot, Kenny Lofton, will now pinch run. Speed on the dime and ducks on the pond for the Red Bolts here in the 8th inning. 2 in scoring position. Tucker at third, Lofton at second with 2 away, and here's Earl Smith. And this has got to be hurting the Red Bolts right now because this should be Ted Williams. Williams injured in this game, however. Well, go ahead and do it there, Robbie. I never play. I don't do those types of tournaments. I know our Red Sox fan likes to do those. I don't. But yeah, I mean, I think it would be fun for somebody that's definitely into that. Definitely. Great way to learn about a franchise too, certainly. And to the guys who bought on my recommendation, now taking the field, glad you bought it, and everybody seems to love the book. So, Robbie, you should buy it too. All right, Tucker at second, or Tucker at third, Lofton at second, 2 down. And I'm not seeing. Good to see your first project, Robbie. This is MV. All right. Russell from the stretch in the 0-2 to Elmer Smith. And Smith, this one a high fly ball to right. Harper back on this ball, and this one off the wall. And Smith picks up a 2 RBI double, scoring Tommy Tucker and Kenny Lofton. Great move by the Manchester Red Bolts, who, for the second time in this game, take the lead. They had a very brief lead in the first, but now storming back here, 2 played in the 8th, and it's 8-7 Red Bolts. And let's show a picture here of Elmer Smith. He is on second in scoring position. Josh Gibson, 2 for 4. And Josh Gibson, the big hit of the game for him, came back in that big 5th with that 2-run triple, scoring Smith and Hazel. Reb Russell sets and delivers the 1-2 fastball. Gibson sends this one down to line to left. This one high. This one not deep enough as Barry Bonds makes a running catch in the corner. So MV, are we allowing Sherry McGee to play left field? And I certainly hope you say yes. But your team, dude. Big Clue says to MV, apparently we can compel Robbie to say things. Who knew? So, Mark, this is one of the things in the channel that happens. It's a good bunch of bench jockeying. It's all in good fun. It never gets mean. It's all good stuff. All right, so coming in, a person who Big Clue and I will tell you until the cows come home, Sherry McGee, who should be in the Hall of Fame and is not. We go to the bottom of the 8th. The Red Bolts now on top, 8-7. Go Bolts. Shoeless Joe Jackson, the top of the order. Fred Dunlap and Barry Bonds. Martin Dihigo staying on in relief. And thus far, he's pitched an inning, 2 hits, struck out 1. Joe Jackson, 2 for 4. Dihigo winds and deals the 2-0. Curveball. This one's sent high to right. Donaldson can only look up and watch it go. And oh my God, Shoeless Joe Jackson hits a 332-foot shot. And didn't mention, he just sneaked in John Donaldson of the Negro Leagues into play right field. So we are tied at 8 here in the bottom of the 8th. So once again, a short-lived lead for these Manchester Red Bolts. And these Detroit Coyotes just refuse. absolutely refused to take that package from the Acme Anvil Company. They're staying in the game. Dunlap, 2 for 4. The pink glove of misery going up from MV, which is what we call that, christened by Steve Tate, the other commissioner of this league. John Hiller now, if rested. Okay. As soon as I can get the box score out of the way. Of course, I can't change the computer on up because I got to change the options. All right, so you're bringing in Hiller now. Let's see if he's rested. John Hiller indeed is rested. So John Hiller it is, bringing in the lefty. So John Hiller will come on, former Detroit Tiger, will come on for the making a trip back home here. So Hiller will face Dunlap here with nobody out. Barry Bonds waits on deck, Mark McGwire in the hole. John Hiller has finished his warm-up pitches. And here's the wind and the 3-2 to Fred Dunlap. Fastball, Dunlap, hard ground ball to A-Rod. A-Rod has 3 years to make this throw, takes his time and fires it on to Tommy Tucker. 1 down, so John Hiller comes in. 1 pitch, 1 out. Let's set this back to where it should be. Computer human. There we go. Barry Bonds, 4 runs batted in today. 8-8 your score, bottom of the 8th. Hiller deals the 1-2. And we have Manny Ramirez. So bizarre. That was bizarre. Manny Ramirez came in to pinch hit for Barry Bonds. And looks at one in the inside corner for strike 3. So weird decision, but there we go. Here's Mark McGwire, 2 for 3. So why you're pinch hitting for a guy, unless there's some strict platooning going on, is the only thing I'm guessing. Because why would you pull Barry Bonds from Manny Ramirez with 4 runs batted in a game? God only knows. Well, yeah, but you know what? This is what my thing about platooning. Would you have lifted Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig? No. I mean, so platooning, I think, has its limits. And, oh my God, you don't pull a guy with 4 runs batted in a game. I don't care about platooning at that point. Ha. Oh, well, anyhow, we saw how that worked out. 2 down, here's the delivery to Mark McGwire. The 0-2, changeup. McGwire pops this one in foul ground behind the plate. Gibson getting the chase, but not enough real estate, and this one won't make the seats. I'm not sure, Robbie. That was weird, but it is what it is. Hiller deals. It's that manager file, I guess. So, side retired. We go to the 9th, and perhaps the in absentia Detroit manager may have just given the Red Bolts a gift. We shall see as Mickey Mantle, Alex Rodriguez, and Mike Schmidt come to the plate. Deep lineup here, too, really. I mean, you've got Mantle in the 6th spot, Rodriguez in the 7th, and Mike Schmidt coming in at a number 8 slot. Ouch. Reb Russell, through 2 innings of work, 4 hits, 2 earned runs for him. You say in this league you'd pull Ruth, he's only hitting 230. He's given my team intangibles, buddy. 1 back. So Reb Russell to deal. Here's the 1-2 to Mickey Mantle. Hard ground ball to third. Felton Snow with a quick pick and throw to Mark McGwire. And the Commerce Comet is out number 1. A-Rod trying to extend the 9-game hitting streak. Nothing for 4 for A-Rod. Struck out twice. He's grounded out, fly to shallow center. A-Rod's got to be thinking of his team right now, though, and crank one. Russell delivers the 0-2 fastball, and this one lined foul. So good contact by Rodriguez, but a little early on the pitch. Maybe he can hang back, straighten it out, and knock it out of here. Russell deals again. The 0-2. Rodriguez come back to the mound. Russell with a quick toss to McGwire, and that's 2 down. Getting dangerous close to extras. And I haven't eaten dinner, so we may not even get a second game in tonight, guys. We'll see. Mike Schmidt now, 1 for 2. RBI single back in the 5th. And here is the wind and the delivery by Reb Russell. The 0-1 fastball. This one scorched to left. And the throw from left. And Schmidt has himself his 6th double of the year. And out number 2. And Walt Wilmot playing left field now instead of Barry Bonds. So can Ripper Collins do something here? MV says, Big Daddy ready on the bench. Grab a dog and a beer from the vendor and suck it up. All right, what do you want here, MV? You're not wanting Ripper Collins? I see the blue, or the pink glove of despair. So what are we doing here? Are we lifting Ripper Collins? Let me know. Okay, keep Ripper. All right. Joe Morgan on deck, 2 down. Go ahead run here in the top of the 9th in scoring position in the person of Michael Jack Schmidt. Reb Russell with the 0-2 to Ripper Collins. Fastball. Harmless chopper to short. Concepcion making the quick pick to retire the side. We go to the bottom of the 9th inning. And yeah, Ripper was due, but not this time. Bryce Harper, Joe DiMaggio, and Johnny Bench. Hiller on in relief. Here we go. Bryce Harper sporting a 1 for 4. The lefty stands in. Gibson with the sign from lefty John Hiller. The 2-2 delivery, changeup, and nice changeup getting Harper. Got a piece of it, and that foul tip, 3rd strike. Gibson holding on to that ball. So 1 away here. Yankee Clipper singled. He is 1 for 4. Singled his last time up. John Hiller sets and fires the 2-1 fastball. DiMaggio, routine fly ball to left field. And Sherry McGee in left squeezes it for out number 2. Allow Francisco Rodriguez to pitch, asks the AI. We will see whether MV wants to stay with John Hiller or go to Francisco Rodriguez. Pink Glove of Despair, Robbie, was christened by Steve Tate. That's why it's called that. Okay, so yes, you want to allow Francisco Rodriguez to pitch. Bring him in. You got it. John Hiller's day is done. Francisco Rodriguez in with 2 down. Rodriguez, a 4.50 earned run average, no wins, 1 loss, 1 save, 4 innings of work, 4 hits, touched up for a home run, walked 2, struck out 7, a whip of 1.500, and the league hitting 250 against him. Right, pink does not mean stop. In some ways, pink means go for it. But anyhow, some of you will get that one. Most of you will get that one. Bench batting with 2 down. A home run in this game for Johnny Bench. Rodriguez deals the 2-2 to Johnny Bench. Line to short. Alex Rodriguez stabs that one for out number 3. And we have free baseball. We go to the top of the 10th. We are knotted at 8. Hard-fought game here. Good game. Red Bolts storming back, taking the lead that lasted a half inning. I know that, Robbie, and that actually in itself is, that's kind of funny, but it's okay. It's all good. You will at a certain point. Joe Morgan, 1 for 4 in the game, including a walk. Here we go. Reb Russell deals, staying on in relief. The 1-1 to Joe Morgan. Curveball. Morgan comeback or no. Russell goes to cover first as Fred Dunlap takes it deep there in second and fires it on to first. So that will take care of Joe Morgan. Here's Tommy Tucker. 1 for 4. Tucker also was plunked by a pitch. Way back in the first, Reb Russell with the 1-1 changeup. Tucker, this one's going to go for extra bases. Strong base hit into right field. This one gets by Harper, and Tucker going to third. Harper with the throw to third. The tag by Snow, and Tommy Tucker picking up his second triple of the year. And here come the Red Bulls now, with the go-ahead run just 90 feet away, and Josh Donaldson at the plate. Donaldson seeing mainly pinch hitting duties for the Manchester Red Bulls. He is hitting 143. He's just 1 for 7 with a stolen base. It sort of does have something to do with that, but it's okay. So again, MV, not seeing anything. I guess Donaldson will go ahead and hit. Not sure what you want to do here with a runner at third. Josh Donaldson, a star of the Negro Leagues. And seeing nothing from MV, so the game will continue. All good, he says. All right. Donaldson last year hit .284 with 3 home runs, 65 runs batted in. Reb Russell kicks and fires. Here's the 2-2. Donaldson sends this to center field. Shallow center will be deep enough. Tagging is Tucker. And here we go. Run in. It's 9-8 Manchester. And here's Sherry McGee making his first plate appearance in the game. And in fact, Sherry McGee used as a pinch runner, it looks like, her defensive substitution, largely for Manchester, not getting really any playing time at all. 2 runs scored, including a stolen base for the should-be Hall of Famer. Sherry McGee last year hitting .283 with 2 home runs and 57 runs batted in. Great dead baller. There's a nice picture of Sherry McGee. All right, a run in, 2 down, 9-8 your score in the top of the 10th. Coming up for Detroit in the bottom of the 10th will be Felton Snow, Dave Concepcion, and Shoeless Joe Jackson. Let me get caught up here, make sure we're good. There we are. Russell deals the 0-2. Sherry McGee, a little slapper up the middle. This is going to be close, and Sherry McGee beats it out. Infield single for Sherry McGee, and that is hit number 13 for the Red Bulls. The Coyotes with 16 in this game. So 29 hits for these teams. And here is big Josh Gibson, 2 for 5. Had himself a 2-run triple. I will always tell him about how I feel about Sherry McGee. I should drive up there. I should call each and every one of the BBWWAA00s that they are and say, what are you doing over here? He should be Hall of Fame. He's batting 1,000. Damn right, Mick. You got that right. Russell throws over McGee back safely. Reb Russell now with the 1-1 to Josh Gibson. This changeup poked foul on the third base side. Felton Snow giving chase down the line. This one get out of play. Reb Russell sets and deals the 1-2 fastball. And Josh Gibson lays off, draws the walk. How about it? 2 on, 2 out, 1 in, 9-8 your score, the top of the 10th. And here's Mickey Mantle. Mantle can bomb it out of here. You couldn't have scripted it better, but the Mick 0 for 3. He has walked twice in the game. Russell peers in, has the sign from Johnny Bench. Johnny Bench sets the target. We're going to go to pitch mode on this one with 2 outs. Russell with the wind and the pitch to Mickey Mantle. Fastball. This one high, ball 1. Reb Russell calling for a new ball. Gets one, rubs it up. Peers in, has the sign from Johnny Bench. 2 on, 2 out, top of the 10th. Reb Russell with the leg kick and the 1-0. Mantle, this one low and inside, so ball 2. Good eye by Mantle, who's walked twice in this game. 2 balls, no strikes. Bench with the signs. Russell shaking him off, has one he likes, toes the rubber and delivers. And this one fouled back into the stands behind the plate. So the count 2-1 now in the Mick. Reb Russell ready to work. Here's the wind and the pitch. And Meadow, base hit, center field. Sherry McGee rounding third. DiMaggio up with the ball. And Detroit throw home. You have no chance to get him, so we're going to say no. And in to score is Sherry McGee. Mickey Mantle picking up the RBI. And now with a safer margin, as Ernie Harwell would say, Manchester up 10-8. Still 2 away, Josh Gibson at second, Mickey Mantle at first. A-Rod with one more chance to extend this 9-game hitting streak. We're gonna go now back to at bat mode. Not quite as tense as it was, but we'll go pitch by pitch in the bottom of the 10th for the Coyotes. Bench out to have a word with Reb Russell. Now back down, and the 0-1 delivery to A-Rod. A-Rod, long fly ball to left. Does it have the distance? And he clobbers this one. Alex Rodriguez in the top of the 10th with a 3-run shot, 371 feet to left field. And not only does A-Rod extend his hitting streak, but now the tables have completely turned. Manchester leading Detroit 13-8. And welcome back, Legend Sports Universe doing an F-ball game over in his channel. He says, good one going. Yeah, he did juice one. He did juice it, didn't he? Woof. All right. As MV says, that's Red Bull magic, folks. So we're not even going to go pitch by pitch in the bottom of the 10th now. Not after that. All right. Mike Schmidt 2 for 3. Reb Russell looking for that third out. And liner to right. And this one played on the hop by Bryce Harper. And that is hit number 16 for Manchester. So 32 hits in this game, 16 apiece. And the woes continue as Reb Russell trying to work out of this. Yeah, Big Clue says, I'll bet Steve will love watching this later. Well, he was the home manager tonight, didn't show up. What are you going to do? And he just had a vacation too, the bum. Ripper Collins swinging on the first pitch, but this one will stay in the park as Wilmot makes the catch and left to retire the side. The carnage is done. 5 runs and 5 hits, no errors. Bottom of the 10th we go. And to say that Detroit has a little bit of work to do is an understatement. So Francisco Rodriguez, will he stay in? So says Big Daddy for Tucker. Oh, wait a minute. I have to fix this up. My cats are misbehaving here now. Nice. So you're bringing in Prince Fielder, yeah? Yes, yes, yes. All right. Or Cecil Fielder, I mean. Tommy Tucker's day is done. Cecil Fielder in there now. Numbers for Fielder in the replay hitting just 200. A home run, 3 runs batted in. He keeps saying daddy, daddy, daddy. Am I missing something? Was that Cecil Fielder's nickname? Daddy, 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 yes, daddy. MV talking to somebody here that I know Cecil Fielder, but as you get later in baseball, not so much with nicknames. So let me make sure here, because you might have just had, yeah, it's like a bad adult film script, right? Daddy for first, daddy. Yes, daddy. I have no idea. Maybe he's telling Steve, who's your daddy? I think we're going with Cecil Fielder because Diego, right, he's already out, used, whatever. So let's go with it. Because YouTube is going to be, boy, I could get dinged for this one, huh? All right. MV. Oh, man, oh, man. Some people's Brits by way of West Virginia and Wales and Jamaica. Jeez. Thank you. That's yeah, Big Thank you. I didn't know his nickname was Daddy. Yeah, I know Big Poppy, but I didn't know they called him Daddy. I just call him Cecil Field, or what do I know? I'm in Egypt. This modern baseball gives me a headache. All right. I mean, I think that we should bring in Old Aches and Pains, but he's not on your team. Or how about Bob Death to Flying Things Ferguson? No, we don't have him either, do we? Huh? No, no, no. keep Rodriguez going. All right, you got it. Love you, MV. You're awesome, dude. It's funny. Here's, Hack Wilson into pinch hit and promptly strikes out. This one catches the inside edge. 1 out. Dave Concepcion, 1 for 4. The 2-2 to Concepcion. Concepcion bouncer up the middle. Joe Morgan ranging to his right fires onto Cecil Fielder, or Daddy Fielder, as it were. And here's Joe Jackson. Can he keep it going? 3 hits today. As MV says, Rod is strong. We're straying into territory that we shouldn't. As Rodriguez deals the 1-2 to Jackson. And this one's going to go for extra bases. Jackson pulls in with his 10th double of the season and his 4th hit today. And please do not tell me he got good wood on the ball. Here is, because Joe Jackson of Steppin' Out fame, right? There we are. Fred Dunlap is 2 for 5. Rodriguez brings it home. The 0-2 changeup. And thank God this one is over. Manchester takes a heartbreaker. Not at all. From the Detroit Coyotes. It's 13-8. And Detroit. Haha, wankers. All right, just very, very quickly recap. Manchester goes to 16-14. Detroit goes to 18-11. Manchester, 5 runs, 13 runs, 16 hits, 3 errors. Detroit, 8 runs, 17 hits, 1 errors. It's been a game of back and forth. Some big innings in this game, namely big innings for Detroit were really the second and the fourth, but Manchester clustering it up. So 4 in the 5th, and then coming back with 5 in the 10th. Francisco Rodriguez gets the win. He goes to 1-1. Reb Russell takes the loss. He goes to 3-1. Tommy Tucker for Manchester goes 2 for 5 with 3 runs batted in. Mike Schmidt, 3 for 4 with a double, 2 walks. Josh Gibson, 2 for 5, 2 runs batted in. Felton Snow for Detroit went 3 for 4 with a double. Barry Bonds, 2 for 4, the home run, 4 runs batted in. And then inexplicably, pinch hit for Manny Ramirez. What the deal was that? Joe Jackson, 4 for 6 with a home run and a double. So Dwight Gooden and Juan Marichal only went 3 innings and got touched up badly. 6 earned runs. Martin Dihigo giving up another earned run by Manchester. So Manchester giving up those 7 runs. And then Dwight Gooden gave up 4 earned runs. And Reb Russell came in and got rocked for 7, all earned. Gooden finishing the game with 5 strikeouts, 6 walks. And neither pitcher bringing the good stuff today. Boy, going to be hard to call RBI on this one, so let's just see what the game says here. And your MVP of the game is Alex Rodriguez. And Ted Williams. This is only a 1-day injury, so Manchester should feel pretty good about that. All right, let us we'll sim out the games and look at the standings. And right now, Detroit with a half-game lead on Mudville. They will preserve that as Mudville has an off day today. So just a half game up. And 1.5 back, Jersey and North Sound. 2 back, Cleveland before we finish this out. 2.5, Manchester and Des Moines. So Detroit starting to feel some heat here a little bit. Badlands versus Des Moines. This is going to be Rod Guidry versus Mort Cooper. Badlands at 11-18. Des Moines at 16-14. Here we go. And Des Moines clips Badlands 3-1. Cooper gets the gets the win, goes to 4-1. Ron Guidry falls to 3-3. Harlan Clift goes 2 for 4 with a home run, his fifth. 3 runs batted in. North Sound versus Hawaii. North Sound making a run, making some noise, just 1.5 back of Detroit. Tied for third along with Jersey, who will see Jersey playing Cleveland. Cleveland also in the hunt despite the crazy injuries. We're going to see Koufax versus Verlander in this one. Here we go. And North Sound edging Hawaii 7-6. So Hawaii's slide continues. Koufax goes to 4-3. Marbury actually takes a loss. He goes to 1-3. Juan Soto, who's doing splendidly this year, goes 3 for 6 with his home run, his 13th home run, I should say, and a double. And finally, it's Jersey versus Cleveland. This is John Clarkson and Smokey Joe Wood. Jersey at 18-14. Cleveland, the injury-riddled Cleveland, at 17-14. And yes, I did I activated Kevin Mitchell. Here we go. And Jersey takes this one from Cleveland, 14-9. Clarkson with the win. He goes to 4-4. And Smokey Joe Wood gets the loss. He goes to 1-5. Ed Bailey for Jersey goes 2 for 4 with 2 home runs. And so he hits number home runs 6 and 7. 3 runs batted in, and that ends the games for 15 May on this calendar. And a final look at the standings. Here's how it shakes out. And we've got a hell of a league going on here, guys. And a long ways to go, too. I'm not going to count really anybody out, not even Arlington. Hopefully Arlington gets in, does something with its roster. Arlington looking for its 7th win. So starting from the bottom up, Arlington 12.5 out, so 6-24. Badlands at 11-19. 7.5 back. Hawaii 13-17, 5.5 back, and then the crunch starts. So Manchester and Cleveland each 2.5 out of first. Des Moines 2 games back. Jersey and North Sound 1 game back, and Mudville a half game back of first place Detroit. So Mudville not liking the fact that they also have off the games for May 16th. So once again, we'll see Jersey and Cleveland, North Sound and Hawaii. These will be MV games. Badlands at Des Moines, and Manchester once again at Detroit. So that does it. We haven't figured out why there are 2 Fred Dunlaps. I looked at the roster. Everything looks fine. So God knows. So it's the Dunlap who is in small, right, with the lowercase whatever. So who knows? Yep. Left arm of God leading in strikeouts. Juan Soto leading in home runs with 13. McGuire behind him with 12. Jimmy Fox with 11. Yay. So let's see. RBI, Pop Lloyd, my man Pop Lloyd. Yeah, the thing that kind of I'm wondering what's going on. My team's a half game out, but I have nobody on the All-Star team. Who is on the All-Star team right now? Johnny Wright, starting pitcher. Josh Gibson will catch. Norm Cash at first. Fred Dunlap at second. Chris Bryant at third. Chris Bryant having a good year. Robin Yount at short. Barry Bonds in left. Willie Mays in center. Giancarlo Stanton in right. And Juan Soto in the DH. But again, guys, just remember that we are just going into Game 30. In fact, some have already played Game 30, so around Game 30, 31. A long way to go, and I'm going to suggest to the other 2 commissioners of this league that maybe we do it with what we did with Ned McGreevy and play out a few weeks. I mean, the way we're going at this point, though, I mean, we would be done with this by October, so who knows? Or maybe by August, actually, because we are now... The game calendar is the 16th, and our date here is the 24th. So we're just 8 days behind. So we could actually finish this before the real baseball season. Pop Lloyd should be on the All-Star team, but he is not. I guess the fans would rather vote for Robin Yount. And in last night's All-Star game, or the other night's All-Star game with legends, Lou Gehrig does not make the All-Star team. Unbelievable. So, well, I know, but everybody was flying back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So Steve was doing games, MV was doing games. I thought, okay, I thought somebody was going to say when to do it. So we'll check with Steve, MV, and you, see what you want to do. Because, I mean, we could just knock out May right now. Well, not tonight because I haven't had dinner. So I'm kind of starving. Work got Steve, then this week, yep. No, no worries, man. It's fine. I took a little break. But I'll get these up to you, MV, for May 15th. I want to thank you guys for coming in. We'll try. We are going to get in an MLB The Show game. So, yeah, we'll get an MLB The Show game. And I hope you guys are having fun with this. MV will be able to knock out a few tomorrow. Yeah, good, 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 good. All right. Thank you very much to MV, to Big Clue, John DFW, Mick F, Legends Sports Universe, Robert Wartburg, of course. Can't forget Robbie Wartburg. He's chasing the pink there. Mark Roberts, our newest member of the family. Thanks for coming in, Mark. Aaron Reed. Thank you, Aaron. Good man you are. Who else? We had Robert, RGL Network, was in hanging out with us for a while. Our Red Sox fan was here. Dan Burke was here. Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Al. Thank you, guys. Robert, thank you very much. Cousin Ken Castro, in early. Or we may come back and do KCCL dead ball tournament, but I don't know. I've got a 6 o'clock in the morning wake up, so I don't think I'm gonna call another game tonight. And John Haber was in here way, way, way back, so always good to see John. All right. So, I haven't looked. MV. I haven't looked at the rosters on. I have 3 different editions of MLB The Show, and I've looked at a few of the rosters, and they're surprisingly deep, actually. I'm sure Fielder is in there, but so you have the I Love 1984 file, MLB 22. I found, before I go off the air really quickly, guys, for MLB The Show 20, somebody did an all-time greats league that's a 3-year. It's like a 3-year slice. So I may have a look at that in MLB The Show 20, and have a look at that. As Robbie says, please do get in an MLB The Show game. I will, but it'll probably be MLB 20 tonight. We'll see. I don't know. But there will be MLB The Show. I know you guys like that. That's become something popular on the channel. Why not? You don't have to hear me. So there you go. No, I know. It's just a chance for us to enjoy some baseball. Yeah, take a look, MV. It's in the rosters vault, MLB 20. So thank you for convincing me to buy it. And it's called, I think it's called All Time Great something, but it's 3-year peak. It's called. So check it out. I'm thinking if somebody did that job, could be pretty neat. MLB The Show 20. Oh yeah, I mean the graphics really, it looks the same. The announcers are different. Dan Plesac is doing some color in it, and it's kind of like, But I like Chris Singleton's color better. But MLB The Show and its menus, and I'll show you guys later. It looks more like a throwback baseball game, if you will. So, but we'll see. But there are tons of stuff. If you guys, anybody out there plays MLB The Show, and you want to look at a lot of rosters where they say a lot more player names, it wouldn't hurt you to go to MLB 20. Get MLB 20, have MLB 22, which I'm also playing, and MLB 23. I'm going to wait probably till October till some more files get up for that one. Having great fun with 22, and as Legends told us, Sony, the jerks, these guys, these modders, and thank you to Legend Sports Universe and all the others who, just so many great, making these great mods, these great rosters, what have you. Sony doesn't allow them to carry over from game to game, which par for the course for Sony. Skyrim players know that the best Skyrim mods are on PC. So Sony, they just have this thing about players in their games, and it's kind of, you know. Because I'm sure that there would be a lot of players if they could just bring it over. And But the nice thing, though, in MLB the 20, the show 22, 21, 20, whatever, is you don't have the stupid shift. So that is something. All right, guys. Thank you. Should be back in a little bit. I just got to grab something to eat really quickly. Sit back and watch some baseball. Be very, very good to me, as Manny Sanguian said. So 9:33 on the p.m. here on the East Coast. MV, you get some sleep, guy. I will get these files to you as soon as I sign out. Guys, thank you so much. You're all family. Seriously, we all come together in this love of this game, no matter our backgrounds, our beliefs, whatever. We set those aside and hang out and celebrate the great game of baseball. Thank you, and see you around the batting cage.